Tim, Diddy invited me to his birthday party, but he took me to a separate room where there were all young boys. Diddy forced me to sacrifice them. He also forced me to beat Casty.
And whether it's the money, the promises, or whatever, it gets him.
How you feel about these rumors surrounding, Diddy and TD Jakes?
Man, what I think about it is this, when I grew up in the church, the sinners was not supposed to have the same atmosphere with the saints. You had to be able to separate the two. So I'm looking at him as a saint going to a party that ain't nothing but sin, drinking, maybe fornication, man on man, woman on woman, he on she.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up?
That dude was possessed with some kind of demon, man. He's possessed with some kind of demon. Wanna be in all this red, this dark rooms with the music blasting. It had to be a certain temperature, a certain type of music for the vibration they were saying. Come on, bro.
People pay attention when Gene Deal speaks. Why? Because he lived in the shadow of the most powerful empire in hip-hop. Gene was more than just a background figure as Puff Daddy's former bodyguard. He was in the midst of it all. The gatherings, the talks in the back room, the celebrations. He saw everything. He's now revealing something that no one anticipated, which is the true reason Bishop T.D. Jakes resigned as pastor. Jakes' departure seemed honorable, dignified, and maybe even clean to the general public. However, Gene is presenting a messier, darker picture. He said that this decision was connected to something more profound, something involving Diddy, rather than simply a man of God thinking it was time to take a break. Let's face it, Diddy and Jakes were close, not just friends. The two often appeared together throughout the years, openly defending one another and developing a relationship that sparked curiosity in the entertainment and religious communities. However, what transpired behind the scenes was not discussed until now. Gene suggests that their bond went beyond Sunday lectures and spiritual counseling. No, he implies that there were background activities that were unable to remain unnoticed indefinitely. And here's the thing. Gene Deal has decades of experience and isn't simply making outrageous statements to get influence. He's been holding receipts from the East Coast that report West Coast turmoil to the most sinister facets of celebrity society. And this time, he's making connections between things that many people don't want to. In addition to his strength, Diddy was calculating, charismatic, and threatening in all the right ways. He was the kind of guy who could make everyone feel fortunate to be in his presence. But there was always something strange, something sinister, underneath the expensive clothing and ostentatious charm. People were drawn to him for many reasons. Some remained out of fear, while some were purchased with cash, others were enticed with glitzy promises, a record contract, a feature, or a place at the table. Diddy's dirt, his power, and the fact that refusing him meant losing everything. Additionally, in regard to T.D. Jakes, was really committed and not simply there for the companionship or religion.
Maybe that'll save some souls. I know he got a contract with Revolt, so I'm just like, it's just real strange that he would be found at any kind of Diddy party or any kind of place with Diddy unless it's in a business atmosphere. So now what he's doing is he's making, he making the Christians look real bad right about now.
And you've been to these parties, right?
Oh yeah, I was there when he was doing the white parties in the Hamptons and the whole 9 yards. So I know what goes on at the parties. If, they probably got a little bit more freakier, as time went on, because they got to the point whereas that they didn't even care.
Furthermore, Jakes embraced it rather than only accepting it. He certainly didn't think twice about joining groups where morality and salvation weren't valued, considering that he spoke on these topics every Sunday. This was alignment, not only friendship. An innocent guy enmeshed in a controversy was not Jake's. He was a guy who would stop at nothing to get a piece of what Diddy had. And he did just that, if it meant ignoring what transpired at those events and keeping silent when things began to become nasty. In the end, Diddy gave him everything: cash, recognition, and a chance to be relevant in society outside of the church. And Jake's returned the favor. His name, his presence,